Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is episode 2 of the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. In this episode, I'm going to give you my impressions of Fat, the documentary. I'm also going to talk about how Serious Keto came into being and where I see it going in the future. But first, when I did the first episode of the Not So Serious Keto video podcast, I had asked if you had any ideas for names. And I got a lot of really great and very creative suggestions, probably the best of which came from Jack Bennett, who came up with the title Carb Your Enthusiasm. That got a big LOL from me. But I think at least for the time being, I'm going to stick with the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. I think it reflects the nature of the podcast pretty well. Periodically serious, but without taking myself all that seriously. So thanks to everybody for all the fun ideas that you came up with for a potential title for this. Last week, I watched the documentary Fat on Amazon Prime Video. I think the full title is Fat, a Documentary, but if I said I watched the documentary Fat, a Documentary, that almost sounds like a, Austin Powers, allow myself to introduce myself, which I didn't want to do, but I just did. I liked this movie, but I didn't love it. And I'm going to talk about what I liked and why I didn't love it specifically. So first off, I think that if you are a keto person, you're living the keto lifestyle, living La Vida low carb, you're going to enjoy this movie because it's basically there, I think, more to reinforce what we believe. I don't know that this movie is going to convert anybody. It's certainly not going to convert anyone who's deeply indoctrinated into the dogma of the standard American diet. It's just not going to convert anybody. I think maybe if there are some people who are on the fence, sort of keto curious, this would be a good movie for them to watch. So if you have friends, relatives that are curious about keto, they seem receptive about keto, this could be the hour and a half that pushes them to the light side. This documentary has a lot of people that you're probably familiar with. The main star is Vinnie Tortorich and his fireplace. There's a lot of shots of his fireplace in this. I don't know what the purpose of all that is, but that was one of those things I didn't entirely get why we had to keep showing slow pans into Vinnie's fireplace. And then, there's Vinnie sitting in a chair. Maybe it's just to kind of contrast his nature, his personality, which seemed to get gradually more agitated, certainly more animated as the movie went on. Also, Gary Taubes is in this. He gets, I think, probably the second most screen time, and rightfully so. I think he makes a lot of really compelling arguments. I really enjoyed seeing him in this. A couple of the people I would have liked to have seen more of were Dr. Drew Pinsky. I really like Dr. Drew. I think he has a very calm demeanor, very level-headed, very charismatic. I think he is a great messenger for keto. So I would have liked to have seen more of him. Additionally, Dr. Eric Westman and Dr. Andreas Eenfeld are in this, the latter from The Diet Doctor. They didn't get as much screen time as I would have liked to have seen. I think there was sort of this disproportionate amount of screen time that went mostly to Vinnie Tortorich and then kind of got distributed through everybody else. So one of the things I think could have improved this documentary was a little bit more time with some of these other folks. There was also a point about 10 or 15 minutes in where there's an extended segment of Vinnie talking about when he was on the Oprah show, and it was an episode all about older women dating younger men. It felt like a speed bump to me in this movie. I know his message was that he was trying to explain how media manipulates a lot of different things, and this was him kind of recognizing that and on the fly trying to make a fool out of Oprah. It really came off a little bit self-congratulatory and like I said, it was a speed bump. It was something that it didn't fit in the message of why the standard American diet is bad and why fat is good. One of the things that I also liked about this documentary was the discussion around Ancel Keys. In fact, I would have liked to have seen more on that. Last summer, I'd listened to the audiobook Pandora's Lab, where there's an entire chapter kind of dedicated to Ancel Keys and the amount of damage that this guy did. I mean, eventually, he pretty much led to the creation of trans fats. And this guy has done, I think, more to harm health than probably anyone that I can think of. And I think this documentary really could have lit him up a little bit more. I mean, I don't like Ancel Keys at all. So that's just sort of a personal preference. The element of this movie that I found to be the biggest misstep, and it was, I think, purely in there for shock value. It was very gratuitous. But as they got to talking about diabetes, there are some scenes where they're showing rotting flesh on appendages. And at an hour and 15 minutes in, so if you want to be prepared for when to kind of cover your eyes or fast forward, they show the amputation of a foot. Completely unnecessary, in my opinion. It really, it took me out of the moment. The shock value was, it wasn't worth it. I don't know why they would put that in there. It was completely unnecessary, and I could see that being a big enough turnoff for people that that's what they remember in this documentary rather than some of the positive messages in it. One of my favorite lines / little monologues in this movie is by Dr. Drew Pinsky, and I did my best to transcribe it here. I'll read it to you. He says, "People attach themselves to one particular approach to diet, and it develops into an identity around which those people maintain a religious intensity. They defend it like any question of their dogma is like you're questioning their religious dogma or threatening their very fabric of reality. So we start looking for things to attach ourselves to, political groups, religious organizations, diet fads, and we look to those groups for our identities. Like somehow going forward, our life is going to be threatened by someone saying, hey, maybe fat's not that bad for you. It's positively comedic, but it's becoming ridiculous." There is a lot of footage from this segment where Gary Taubes is on some sort of panel discussion on a talk show. And there's this lady, who I didn't write down her name, and a young Dr. Oz there. This lady pretty much has this perpetually bitchy look on her face. It's the same sort of look that I find I get from all of the standard American diet people. They make this same face as they're making all their arguments about how keto is going to kill you, similar to how this woman does. I think on the whole, if you are a keto fan, this is a good movie to watch. I don't think you'll regret it outside of a couple of those little speed bumps and that one graphic element that I talked about. It'll make you periodically angry. It'll make you periodically sad. And from time to time, you'll probably pump your fist and say, right on, and hope that more people get the message. I'd probably give it 7 out of 10. Next, I want to talk about Serious Keto and how Serious Keto was formed and where I kind of see it going in the future. I've been a foodie for as long as I can remember. I have, I think, somewhere between 150 and 160 cookbooks. I've also got 2 large, 4-inch binders that contain almost 2,000 recipes that I've curated from various sources: Food and Wine Magazine, Bon Appetit Magazine, Milk Street Magazine, Food Network, various websites like Chef Steps or Food 52 or Serious Eats. And as I went keto, I thought, what do I do with all of this stuff? I mean, there are some really outstanding recipes here, but they're not keto. And I got the idea, since I'm serious about cooking, that it would be fun to try and start to convert some of these recipes into keto. Some of them were going to be fairly easy, just one or two simple substitutions, oftentimes a sweetener, or you substitute out rice for riced cauliflower. Those were going to be pretty easy. I was more interested in some of the challenging stuff, to create some really high-end, gourmet, spectacular meals that are still keto. I started looking around for potential URLs. I was out on GoDaddy and Google Domains trying to find untaken URLs. And it's very hard to find a .com that has a good keto name in it and nothing is misspelled, like KEETO or something like that. So I spent probably a couple of weeks I would wake up in the middle of the night, I had an idea, and I would grab my phone and get out onto Google Domains and look up, Keto 123 or something like that. And eventually I stumbled on to Serious Keto, and it wasn't registered. So I quickly bought the domain. I got out, I did a trademark search to make sure that no one else had trademarked this. I promptly trademarked it, and that became the name, Serious Keto. And in retrospect, maybe not the best choice. Maybe Not So Serious Keto would have been a better choice, because I think a lot of people have misinterpreted what the channel's all about. Maybe thought I'm a very serious person. I can be kind of intense, but I don't know that I'm especially serious. Or that I'm just rigidly strict about keto, that I am a member of the keto police or something, which I think if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm really not. I like a little bit of dirt on my keto. To me, it's about really staying in a state of ketosis, not being too dirty, but I don't feel that every meal needs to be grass-fed, organic, etc., etc. So I started making some videos, and none of them really took off. I think the first video that got more than 100 views was when I tried to make a clone of Nutso nut butter. And actually, I think I made a better one than Nutso nut butter. But I was so excited. I had 100 views. And then the chaffle came along. And I kind of ignored the chaffle for about 3 weeks or so. It was showing up in my Google News feed on my phone. And I kept seeing chaffle. And just sort of, I would scroll past it. Finally, I thought, fine. I'll buy a Dash Mini. I'll make a chaffle. What's the big deal? It's just egg and cheese. And it blew my mind. And you see it actually blow my mind in the Next Level Chaffles video, the very first chaffle video I made. That was the first time I tasted a chaffle. And the reason I included the pretty much full sequence of me chewing the bite was so that you could see my face and see how I was living a new world in keto now. Having tried Atkins 20 plus years ago and really kind of failing because I didn't have that delivery mechanism that was like bread or like a bun, this was going to be the thing that I knew would help me stay in keto and probably help a lot of other people as well. That video must have just resonated with people. It kind of went viral and my channel started growing. Since September, when I released it, I think I had a few hundred, maybe 1,000 subscribers. And now here I am rapidly approaching 42,000. It just sort of took off. And I was so excited by the chaffle that I wanted to keep experimenting with it. I mean, the chaffle is so cool in that you've got this little laboratory, the size of a Dash Mini, where you can try out ideas, and if you fail, not an especially big deal. But when you succeed, it's pretty awesome. And I kept kind of pounding out chaffle videos to the point that I became sort of the chaffle guy. And that's not what I wanted to be. I didn't want to be the chaffle guy. I wanted to be the gourmet keto guy, the guy who was creating super awesome family meals that people would eat and say, I can't believe this is keto because everything tastes so wonderful in it. So I've tried injecting more of that. I also hit a point where I wanted to share my story. So I created the transformation series of videos which I think was fairly well received. Not by everybody. I mean, I got my fair share of nasty comments on that. But for the most part, I think it went pretty well. It was a cathartic experience for me to kind of share my adult journey as being overweight and on a diet roller coaster. So that went pretty well and helped grow the channel. But one of the things that I struggle with is whether or not I can make Serious Keto financially sustainable for myself and my family. I had allocated at a point last year a certain sum of money, basically investments that were probably going to be used for a rainy day or retirement or whatever. And I said I'm willing to budget this money through July of 2020. And either Serious Keto is going to be successful by then, or I'm going to have to go back into the corporate world, which I really wouldn't want to do. I've found that working for myself is like having the best boss in the world. Plus, I love what I'm doing. I love cooking, and I love the community that has formed around Serious Keto. A lot of great people, love interacting with them. So I don't want this to stop. I want this to keep going. And for this to keep going, it needs to be about 3 or 4 times the size of what it is right now, at least in terms of profitability. So a quick little how to make money on YouTube 101. There are a few sources of income. There is the Google ads, which is, the skippable ads that show up before the videos. At least I make them skippable. That's something I'm going to have to debate going forward. The little pop-ups that appear sometimes off to the side, there'll be an ad. That's one way. Then you have affiliate marketing partnerships. I have one with Amazon. So when I use a given product, whether it's an ingredient or an appliance or kitchen tool or something like that, a cookbook, and I reference it down below in the comments, and you click on that, then I get some little commission. Usually in the 2 to 5% range, depending on what the product is. The cool thing is, I actually get a commission on anything you purchase on Amazon for the next 24 hours after you click on one of those links. So, if you clicked on a plunger whisk and decided to go out and buy a Lamborghini, that would be awesome for me. The other thing that helps pay for this channel are the affiliate marketing partners that want me to do product reviews or pitch their products. And I have turned down a lot of those. I would say between 12 and 15 so far. And that's just kind of been within the last couple of months. I can't pimp for a product that I myself would not purchase. I've purchased a Keto Mojo. I'm a very big believer in their product. I love their blood glucose and ketone monitor. So I will keep mentioning it, and I will keep including the link in the description below. I think it's a great product. Perfect Keto, I've purchased a number of their products. A number of them I like. Some of them I'm kind of ambivalent about, and some I'm kind of just meh on. And I will promote those products that I like from them when they're on sale. To me, that's sort of the key. They know that's my position. They know I'm just not going to get out and be just gushing in my praise of every one of their products. I'm going to be honest. And as you watch some of my reviews of their products, there's some that I don't care for, and I let you know that. And if at some point Perfect Keto decides that I'm not being effusive enough in my praise of their product and decide to pull their affiliate marketing program from me, so be it. My integrity is more important to me. I'm going to be honest with you. One of the things that I struggle with, and I've really been debating, is the YouTube ads. I could double my revenue tomorrow simply by making my ads not skippable, and on any video that's more than 10 minutes long, inserting a commercial into the middle of it. Easy peasy. I'm really hesitant to do that. I would rather not go that route, just because to me, I find it kind of annoying when I need to sit through a commercial to get to somebody's video, but it's becoming more and more prevalent out on YouTube, and it may be something that I need to do in the future. The other thing that I'm giving a hard look at is YouTube channel memberships. So this is where YouTube members can pay a monthly premium. and I can set whatever that premium is, whether it's 99 cents or $4.99 or $9.99 or $99.99, which I would never do. You can then offer those people additional content, whether it's members only chat rooms or members only discussion groups or exclusive videos or early access to videos or product discounts or things like that. And that's something I'm looking at doing. It would not impact anyone who doesn't want to purchase a channel membership. So this is, I would keep all of whatever you've enjoyed or not enjoyed in terms of content so far. That would stay the same. I'm not taking anything away. But I would add potentially some of this additional content for people who would like to pay a premium and help support the channel. Another thing that could potentially be in the cards, if it were the right sponsor, it would actually have to be a sponsor who's willing to A, throw some money at me, and B, be a product I really, really like and would endorse. And then, I would do some sort of ad, where I'm just talking them up kind of during the course of the video. Off the top of my head, that would have to be someone like Crowd Cow or maybe Butcher Box or Snake River Farms, someplace that's got meat. If someone wanted to reimburse me in Wagyu, I would take that. I would take that. But the way I would most like to grow this channel is organically. I would just love to be able to get the message out to more people. So if you enjoy the channel and want to help with that, tell a friend, tell a family member, share it on social media. That helps me out. Also, when I created Serious Keto, I purchased the URL, and I'm not sure if I trademarked it or not, but it's Lean Body Mind. The goal of this sort of sister website to Serious Keto was going to be more on the physical health, mental and emotional well-being, and personal productivity aspects. So what are some of the life hacks and things like that that can make you more efficient, improve your energy, your focus, your productivity around the house, how to organize your kitchen, for example. So things that were not specifically cooking, but could tangentially be related to Serious Keto. I don't know if eventually that becomes the page name and then Serious Keto becomes a show underneath Lean Body Mind or what. But I know that for the time being, I need to get Serious Keto rocking as much as I can. I would love to have enough content that I could create a cookbook, if not a physical cookbook, at least an e-cookbook that would be available prior to the holidays 2020. And I really want to continue to do some interesting and out-of-the-box type of recipes. Things that are in my brain that I haven't seen other people in the keto community do. And maybe for good reason. Maybe the ideas that are in my brain are just horrible ideas, and when I try them out, I will see that they're horrible ideas, and then I'll understand why no one in the keto community is doing it. I would love to continue to do creative and interesting things beyond the chaffle for this channel. So I'm excited to be back from my vacation, and I'm still kind of working on getting things caught up around the house so that I can be on a regular cadence of releasing 3 or 4 videos per week, knock on wood. And with your help, hopefully we can continue to grow Serious Keto. That's it for episode 2. Thanks for watching or listening, whichever you're doing.